MATERA, with its 8,000 years of history, is actually one of the world's oldest towns. The town and its surrounding area have been inhabited since prehistoric times, as testified by Paleolithic caves and Neolithic-era villages. The first organized human settlements employed scale housing methods that are still in use today. These early settlements gave way to a town that chronicles the history of mankind and its relationship with nature. And it is thanks to its fascinating history that MATERA was first recognized as a World Heritage Site, and more recently, it has been designated as a European Capital of Culture. The two most characteristic districts of MATERA are the Sasso Cavioso and the Sasso Barisano, divided by the rise of Civita, the medieval heart of the fortified city. In the Sassi, most houses have been carved out of the hillside rock. The structural framework of the ancient town, such as the houses, places of worship, and the olive oil mills, still exist today in the city's underground core. The reason why MATERA is considered the chief example of Rupestran civilizations. Over the centuries, the city of MATERA spread beyond the rocky cliffs of the Sassi. During the 17th century, the foundations of the modern city were laid, with its institutional buildings that can still be admired today in the city's historical center. In recent times, the historical center renovation brought to light a hidden network of underground water cisterns spread over 5,000 square meters. Thanks to an ingeniously and meticulously hand-built conduit system, rainwater flowing down from the hills would be channeled to the population living below, becoming purified along the way and providing essential sustenance for its survival and development. Between the 18th and 19th centuries, the equilibrium of the urban ecosystem deteriorated. The ancient house caves became wretched and unhealthy structures, although the social fabric managed to preserve its ancient local peasant culture with dignity, mutual support, and resilience. In the 1950s, 70% of MATERA's population suffered from abject living and health conditions, without running water, a proper sewage system, and electricity. The Sassi district were referred to as a national shame, to the point that in 1952, a law was passed by the then head of state, De Gasperi, to relocate the people living there in modern quarters on the outskirts of the town. Renowned architects and town planners were invited to plan the new districts, an architectural exploit that has since been referred to in university planning departments and in architectural textbooks. The old districts slowly became no man's land until 1986, when a law was passed to recover and restore them for their significance to cultural and identity heritage. This represented the first big step towards the revival of the old town, which shortly afterwards was recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Its locations continued to inspire travelers and artists, including many motion picture directors. Since the 1950s, 40 feature-length films have been shot in MATERA. Films like The Gospel According to St. Matthew by Pier Paolo Pasolini and The Passion by Mel Gibson designated MATERA as an international tourist destination thanks to its worldwide media exposure. Thus, a newborn entrepreneurial enthusiasm spread in MATERA, exceeding the hospitality and the catering sectors. Under the guidance of skilled craftsmen, many young artisans have now started to retrieve old skills, recovering and innovating traditional artisan techniques, the carved local rock, the tuffo, terracotta, and maiolica, engraved wood and papier-mâché. The latter is in fact intrinsically connected to the patron saint of the city, the Virgin Mary of the Bruna. Its celebration is a unique religious and folklore blend that takes place every July 2nd, just for one day, yet it's the longest day of the year for the locals, with a procession that starts at dawn and ends after sunset, with a complete deconstruction of the triumphal papier-mâché float made by local traditional artisans. After it has paraded the statue of the patron saint through the town center and deposited it in the safety of the cathedral. MATERA is an everlasting city whose existence has been fueled by its unbowed inhabitants, always capable to reinvent themselves. When the Commission that later designated it as the 2019 European Capital of Culture visited Matera, it was welcomed into the homes of the local people so that it could experience firsthand that here, culture is not merely an academic notion, but a form of wisdom handed down from generation to generation. Even today, Matera is going through an extraordinary historical evolution that consolidates its standing as a world-renowned cultural tourist attraction, following an example of sustainable social and urban development based on the economy of knowledge and innovation, on the quality of its urban landscapes, and on the promotion of its human capital. Its city dwellers are now cultural citizens, consciously aware of their historical and cultural identity. Today, they want to narrate their story to the world. Matera is a unique example of a place where culture is produced rather than being consumed, where one can learn again the art of listening to silence, where it is still possible to feel a cycle of the seasons. This unique evocative capacity, combined with the use of modern technology, will also enable Matera to become a digital hub, an ideal setting for those in search of creative inspirations in a very livable urban environment. Matera, the oldest city of Europe and the cradle of modern innovations.